Hi, I'm Charlena Hayes. Welcome back to Hey Charlena, where I am on a quest to find peace in my life after just so many years of chaos. I'm sure you looked at the title of the video. It is God Got Me Out of Jail. And so I'm going to tell you the story about basically God getting me out of jail. So, as background, I'm in all of this trouble, and first I have to say that I accept full responsibility for it because I let somebody into my life who never should have been in my life. So this person showed up when my mom was sick, and I kept telling him no, no way, absolutely not. But he kept showing up over and over again. So eventually he grew on me. I let him into my life. Long story short, it was a mistake. I knew it was a mistake at the beginning. Let it happen anyway. So I'm sitting in jail. So the first time I went to jail was after the initial arrest, and that was 4 days. And then so I'm let me just back up. I'm still on house arrest and I'm still on probation, so I have to be very careful about how I talk about the case until my sentence is served. So I will say that there were some things posted online that were not thoroughly checked and vetted before I was thrown in jail a second time. So the second time, I'm in jail for 3 weeks, and I was like, man, this is so messed up. And when you're in it, you know, I was just there. I was just like, you know what? It's just whatever. Just going. I had my attorney working for me, and I was just hoping eventually I would get out. I was really hoping that I would not have to sit there until my trial. So I'm trying to make the best of it. I worked a lot. So I was basically working the equivalent of 3 jobs with 2 jobs and running my business, and that's what I like to do. I mean, I didn't have to do it, I wanted to, and that's basically what I did. And so in jail, I got a chance to sleep. As far as the noise would let me watch movies, which I never really watched movies probably since like the 80s, and read books and listen to podcasts and stuff. So I, I was keeping myself entertained, but I wanted to go home. So one day I had gone downstairs. We would get medicine, and I had to take. I was taking my Loxapam because before the incident, I had actually sprained my ankle, and I also had a torn rotator cuff in my shoulder. So I was taking an anti-inflammatory to manage the pain. And I went downstairs to get my medicine, and as I was coming back to go up the stairs to my cell, this older gentleman was there, and he looked at me and he said, "Are you coming to church tomorrow?" And I said, "Well, I didn't know there was church." And so he said, "Well, put your name on the clipboard, and I'll see you in church tomorrow." So I'm like, "Okay." So as background, if I was not in jail, I would not, be going to church. I'm not religious, but I'm very spiritual, so I very much believe in God. But I've been to many churches in my life, many different denominations, and I haven't found a place that worked for me. Um, some places I did not appreciate how they put people in the spotlight to give donations. Some places they were very cliquish. Some places people were just nasty. And this is just my opinion that churches, there's some of the worst devils attending church. And so no offense to you if you have a church where you go and everything's absolutely wonderful. I haven't had that experience. And so for me, I don't go to church, but I pray and I very much believe in God. Um, the story that I'm telling now is an example, but I have some more that I'll share at another time. So anyway, I get up, I think it was a Thursday, and we get ready and we go to church. And so we get there, and there were like like 3 or 4 rows of men on 2 sides. And they said this was the first time that the men and women attended church at the same time. So it's kind of like a special day. And so we're all sitting, I think there were like 2 or 3 rows of women, and we're sitting and we're waiting for the service to get started. And my friend Derica, she was on my left, probably like 2 or 3 seats down from me. And then my friend Ruth was on my right side. So we're sitting there, we're listening to the church service. And so there's some songs, some good music, so it was nice. But then he started to tell the story of Samson and Delilah. And if you know the story, Delilah was basically Samson's downfall. And he was strong, he had long hair, and she manipulated him and used him until she basically cut his hair off, which was his strength. And he lost all his power. So the story is God giving it back after he prayed and asked God for his power back. And it's basically a person that should not be in your life coming into your life and destroying you. And so, because of my situation, this man that I let into my life that never should have been there, and like sometimes I get mad at myself, but I was in a bad situation. Like my mom was really, really sick, and the hospital didn't think she was going to make it. So I was not completely in my right mind, but still, I was, whatever. I guess I just got to get over that at some point. So anyway, he continued with the story, and he got to a part where he was basically saying that you can ask God for your power back. And I'm sitting there like, man, he is definitely talking to me. So he at some point said, turn to your neighbor and point at them and say, the devil will not have your soul. And I don't know at which point Derica had got up and moved to the row in front of me and to the left of me, but she turned around and she pointed at me and she said, the devil will not have your soul. And I just started crying because I'm like, oh my goodness, he's talking right to me. So the service continued. They had some testimonies of people who were about to be let out of jail, and some of them, they had done some stuff, and I'm like, wow, maybe there's a chance for me. So, right before we left, we all lined up, and the preacher came and he shook our hands, and we went back to our cells. And so, I think dinner came, or it must have been, maybe it was lunch. I don't know. One of our meals came, so I'm out, and I'm sitting with Derica again, the same one that pointed to me, and she said, "You will never be in here again." And I said, I hope, I hope that's right. So I get back to my cell and I call my sister. In fact, it was Halloween. And I called her and she said, no, it was October 30th because the next day was Halloween. She said, you have a bond hearing tomorrow. Now, mind you, it's been 3 weeks. I haven't heard anything. My attorney's busy. He's not calling me back. And he would only call when there was an update. And so he didn't have any updates. And I didn't have any hearing schedule. And I went to church and God sent a message through somebody else that said, the devil will not have your soul. The next day I had a bond hearing and my bond was approved. And I was just like, I was so happy. So I think I just got out because at one point I was on house arrest. So this, I was just out, and I think I had to like check in twice a week and do drug tests. And so I was like, this is amazing. And then, we get to so I ended up pleading guilty, and I'll talk about my case more when I can. But I was looking at a lot of time, and God already told me I wasn't going back to jail, so I completely and totally believed it. And I got to my sentencing, and I was sentenced to 6 months house arrest and 3 years probation. So I did not go back to jail. And when I tell you that those messages were coming fast and hard during this time, they were coming fast and hard. So I never doubted that I would be okay. But I'm telling you, that was just the most amazing thing to know that God was looking after me. And I do believe that it was because of collective prayer. And I very much believe that when other people pray for you, it just becomes so powerful that God hears you. So I always pray for people, and just to know that my friends and my family, they were standing by me and praying for me, and he heard it, and I did not go back to jail. So I just hope that by sharing this, that whatever your religious beliefs are, if you're spiritual, if you have hope, if you have faith, that no matter what the situation, no matter how bad it seems, how bad it looks, logically, you analyze the situation and it seems bad, I'm telling you, God has the final word. So that's what happened. Yep. The devil did not have my soul, and I'm not going to let him have it. So I'm going to continue to prosper and grow and reinvent and you know just keep trying because it's not over till it's over. And that's that. So I just wanted to share that story. Hopefully it can inspire you. And I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for joining me. Bye.